Hello friends, and welcome to a lecture on sociology and its scope. Let me first of all give you a brief introduction about sociology. Sociology is the study of human society and social behavior. Social behavior can be explained as human behavior, which is the result of interaction among people in society. Sociology is the scientific study of human social life, groups, and societies. The subject matter of sociology is huge, complex, and varied. Sociology has two important characteristics. First, as an approach to science, and second, its subject matter, that is social behavior. Sociology does not, however, study everything that happens in society or under social conditions. For example, sociologists study kinship only so far as it affects social relationship. The relationship of man to man, of one to another, or of one group to the whole society. The chief interest of sociology is the people. The ideas, the customs, the other distinctively human phenomena which surround man and influence him and which are therefore part of his environment. Sociology also devotes some attention to certain aspects of the geographical environment and to some natural as contrasted with human phenomena. But this interest is secondary to its preoccupation with human beings and the products of human life in association. Sociology is a general science and studies society in its totality. But all social sciences study it focusing only on a particular dimension or phase of human life, and thus they have become specialized social sciences. Sociology is scientific in the sense that it utilizes the basic elements of science like observation, recording, verification, generalization, and prediction. The main aim of sociology is to acquire knowledge about society, its social institutions, social organizations, and social processes. Sociology as a discipline describes and analyzes the social behavior with an ultimate purpose. The ultimate aim of sociology is not to provide solutions to problems of social institutions, social organizations and social processes and others, but to provide knowledge about their nature, magnitude, causes and consequences. The knowledge produced by sociology could be utilized for social construction, stability and solution to problems and issues of society. Auguste Comte was the first social scientist who coined the term sociology in 1839. He was a French philosopher and is generally called the father of sociology. Sociology is composed of two words, socius, meaning companion or associate, and logos, meaning science or study. Thus, etymological meaning of sociology is the science of society. Auguste Comte defines sociology as the science of social phenomena subject to natural and invariable laws, the discovery of which is the object of investigation. He divided the subject matter of sociology into two branches, that is, social static and social dynamic. Social static refers to the things, events and phenomena at rest, while social dynamic to change. These terms have been borrowed from mechanics, but the meaning of these terms in sociology is modified to suit the requirements of a science dealing with human behavior as against a science dealing with concrete things. Social dynamics studies the laws of succession, while social statics seeks those of coexistence, or the former furnishes the theory of progress, the latter of order. Dynamic sociology refers in general to development or progress, while static refers to relationship. Social institutions as general possess both the characteristics of statics and dynamics. Social scientists can discuss the relationship, continuity, and change of social institutions. For example, family as an institution has a static aspect as well as dynamic aspect. It has continued to exist through the ages but has undergone structural and functional changes. It is a subsystem of society and has relationship with other social institutions like marriage, kinship, economy, religion, and education. Although the term sociology was first used by Auguste Comte, the discipline was more firmly established by theorists like Emil Durkheim, Karl Marx, and Max Weber. Max Weber defines sociology as the science which attempts the interpretative understanding of social action in order thereby to arrive at a causal explanation of its course and effects. Emil Durkheim defines sociology as the science of social institutions. Sociology is the study of human social life because human social life is so expansive. Sociology has many subsections of study, ranging from the analysis of conversations to the development of theories to try to understand how the entire world works. Sociologists investigate the structure of groups, organizations, and societies, and how people interact within these contexts. Since all human behavior is social, the subject matter of sociology ranges from the intimate family to the hostile mob, from organized crime to religious cults, from the divisions of race, gender, and social class to the shared beliefs of a common culture, and from the sociology of work to the sociology of sports. Sociology provides many distinctive perspectives on the world, generating new ideas and criticize the old. The field also offers a range of research techniques that can be applied to virtually any aspect of social life like street crime and delinquency, corporate downsizing, how people express emotions, welfare or education reform, how families differ and flourish, or problems of peace and war. Sociology was earlier treated as social philosophy or the philosophy of the history, and it emerged as an independent social science in 19th century. John Stuart Mill proposed the word ethnology for this new science. Sociology became the permanent name of the new science since it was adopted by later sociologists like Herbert Spencer and Emil Durkheim. Sociologists are concerned with how social conditions influence our lives as individuals. Social conditions are the realities of the life we create together as social beings. Sociology emerged in reaction to vast changes that took place in Europe because of the French, Russian, and Industrial Revolution, and these revolutions brought far-reaching changes in society and its institutions like social, economic, political, and so on. There was chaos and confusion in society, And it is here that Robert Bertrand, in his book Social Order, describes the nature of sociology by highlighting certain characteristics. A. Sociology is a social and not a natural science. B. Sociology is a categorical or positive and not a normative science. C. Sociology is a pure or theoretical and not an applied science. D. Sociology is a general and not a particular science. And A. It is both rational as well as empirical science. Recent studies have revealed that sociologists have shown interest in application of knowledge produced, and thus action research and participatory research has assumed great significance. The scope of sociology mainly falls under two schools of thought, which propound different viewpoints regarding scope and subject matter of sociology, like formal school and synthetic school. Formal school of sociology puts emphasis on giving sociology a definite subject matter of its own to make it a distinct discipline. It stresses upon the study of forms of social relationships and regards sociology as independent. The main advocates of this school are Georg Simmel, Ferdinand Tonnies, Alfred Weirkant, and Leopold von Weiss. According to Simmel, sociology is a pure and independent science. It should confine to the study of certain aspects of human relationships only. In this sense, sociology as a special science describes, classifies, analyzes, and delineates the forms of social relationships, or in other words, social interactions should be classified into various forms or types. Further, it should study only the forms of social relationships but not the contents. Simmel argued that social interactions have various forms and as such denote formal relationships like competition, domination, imitation, division of labor, subordination, cooperation, competition, sub and superordinate relationships, and so forth. He emphasized on the process of abstraction of these forms from human relationship, which are common to diverse situations. According to Simmel, sociology should confine its study to formal behavior instead of studying actual behavior. Sociology stands in such a relationship with other sciences as is analogous to the relation holding between the physical science activities, not the relationships themselves. Simmel stressed that sociology covers only the genetic forms of social relationships, behaviors, and activities. According to Simmel, sociology does not undertake to study all the activities of society. Every science has a delimited scope. The scope of sociology is the study of the genetic forms of social relationships, behaviors, and activities. Weirkant maintained that sociology should be concerned with ultimate forms of mental or psychic relationship which link man to another in society. The subject matter of sociology is the ultimate forms of mental relationships like love, hatred, cooperation, competition, etc. In this way, the scope of sociology is limited to formal relationships. Max Weber argued that the aim of sociology is to interpret or understand social behavior and social action. But social behavior does not cover the whole field of human relations. Indeed, not all human interactions are social. In this sense, he contends that the scope of sociology consists in the interpretation of social behavior. Social behavior is that which is related by the intention of perpetrator to the behavior of others and is determined by it. Sociology is concerned with the analysis and classification of types of social relationships. According to Leopold von Wies, there are two kinds of fundamental social processes in human society. Number 1, associative process like contact, cooperation, adaptation and integration. And number 2, disassociate processes like competition and conflict. Apart from these two processes, a mixed form of the associative and dissociative also exists. Ferdinand Tonnies divided societies into Gemeinschaft, that means community, and Gesellschaft, that means association, on the basis of degree of intimacy among the members of the society. He has, on the basis of forms of relationship, tried to differentiate between community and society. Tonnies has differentiated between society and community on the basis of forms of relationships and has supported the idea of pure sociology. In this way, according to the formal school, sociology studies one specific aspect of social relationships and behavior like their forms, and its scope is limited to them. Formal school has extremely narrowed the scope of sociology because it emphasized on merely abstract forms of relationships and neglected the concrete contents of social life. It would be futile to study abstract forms separated from concrete relations. Ginsberg contends that a study of social relationships would remain barren if it is conducted in the abstract without the full knowledge of the terms to which in concrete life they relate. The formal school has been criticized differently. 1. This school has been criticized on the ground that other sciences also study forms of social relationships, and it is not a correct assertion to contend that sociology alone studies the forms of social relationships. 2. The conception of a pure sociology is not practical, as no science can be studied in complete isolation from the other sciences. The formal school has conceived of pure sociology and has also much literature concerning it, but none of the sociologists has been able to make any pure sociology. 3. The forms of social relationships differ from the forms of geometry, since the forms of geometry have a definite spatial shape, but the social relationships are devoid of any such shape. 4. It is not correct to separate the concrete relations from abstract forms. Sociology will have to widen its scope to include concrete relationships, behavior and activities, as the forms cannot be studied in abstraction from the concrete relationships. Besides studying the general forms of social relationships, sociology will have to study the contents in social life. Now friends, let's talk about synthetic school of sociology. It treats the subject matter of sociology as huge, complex and varied. It stresses upon the study of sociology to be synthesis of the social sciences and thus wanted to widen the scope of sociology. The main advocates of this school are Durkheim, Ginsberg, Sorokin, Karl Mannheim, and others. Durkheim argues that sociology has three main divisions, namely social morphology, social physiology, and general sociology. Social morphology studies the geographical or territorial basis of life of people, like population, its size, density, and distribution, and so on. This can be explained by analyzing the size and quality of population, which affects the quality of social relationship and social groups, and by describing and classifying social structure or social groups and institutions. Social physiology studies the origin and nature of various social institutions like religion, morals, law, economy, education, kinship, and others. In general sociology, the main aim is to formulate general social laws by locating the links among various institutions. Karl Mannheim divided sociology into two main sections like general sociology and historical sociology. General sociology describes the main factors of living together, which define the relationships found in society. The historical sociology studies the historical forms of society. It has two subdivisions: A. Comparative sociology, B. Social dynamics. Comparative sociology studies the historical variations and comparisons between society and its units. Social dynamics study the interrelations between the various social factors and institutions in society. Sociology endeavors to disentangle the fundamental conditions of social change and persistence and to discover sociological principles governing social life. Synthetic school defines sociology as a synthesis of the social sciences or a general science. This viewpoint makes the scope of sociology encyclopedic and synoptic. All the aspects of social life are interrelated. Hence, the study of one aspect cannot suffice to understand the entire fact. For this reason, sociology should generally study social life as a whole, general and systematic discipline. Pointing to the ill effects of the spatial school viewpoint, which are reflected in geographical, biological, and economic determinism. The synthetic school sociologists regard sociology as a general science and study society in its totality. In this way, the subject matter of sociology and the other sciences is the same, only there is a difference in their respective viewpoints. Society is the subject matter of all social sciences, but they all study it from some different viewpoints and in specific areas. But sociologist studies it from totality point of view. In this context, sociology has been called science of sciences or the mother of all sciences. Thus, on the basis of discussion, the scope of sociology can be highlighted as 1. Sociology analyzes the various institutions, associations, and social groups which are results of social relationships of individuals. 2. The links among different parts of society. 3. Causes and factors of social behavior which lead to social stability and social change. 4. Trends of change in the society. 5. Consequences of change. The British Sociological Association has recognized three basic categories of sociology. 1. Sociology is conceptual. It means ideas about society are devised as concepts to describe and explain the working of society. In this way, the forms of social organization and the resulting social institutions which people create and reproduce in the course of everyday life become defined in social terms. 2. Concepts are tested through empirical research, that is, research involving the investigation of particular aspects of society and the way people interact with each other. This provides a check as to whether sociological concepts actually correspond to the way social life is conducted by real life people. In other words, sociological research consists of the identification, development, and testing of theories. 3. Sociology is the one social science which embraces the whole range of human activities, and this makes it a very wide field of study. As a result, it offers many opportunities for specialization, and these are reflected in the work of sociologists. That's all we have in today's lecture. Thanks.